Kat was used to looking at a room and seeing all the angles, but she'd never seen a room quite like this before. Though the hallway outside was long and straight, this room was round. Dark wood surrounded her. Dim lights hung from a low ceiling. It felt to Kat almost like a cave, except for a tall, slim window where a narrow beam of sunlight came pouring in. Suddenly, Kat found herself reaching out, wanting to run her hands through the rays. But then someone cleared his throat. A pencil rolled across a desk, and Kat's shoes squeaked again, bringing her back to the moment.
"You may sit down."
The voice came from the back of the room, and at first Kat didn't know who'd spoken. Like the voice, the faces before her were unfamiliar. The 12 on her right were wrinkle-free and fresh, students just like her, or as much like her as a Colgan student could possibly be. The 12 people on her left had hair that was a little thinner, or makeup that was a little heavier. But regardless of age, all the members of the Colgan School Honor Board were wearing identical black robes and impassive expressions as they watched Kat walk to the center of the circular room.
"Sit, Miss Bishop,"
Headmaster Franklin said from his place in the front row. He looked especially pale in his dark robe. His cheeks were too puffy, his hair too styled. He was the sort of man, Kat realized, who probably wished he were as fast and sporty as his car. And then, despite everything, Kat grinned a little, imagining the headmaster himself propped up in the middle of the quad squirting water. As Kat took her seat, the senior boy beside the headmaster rose and announced, "The Colgan School Honor Board shall come to order." His voice echoed all around the room. "All who wish to speak shall be heard, all who wish to follow the light shall see, all who wish to seek justice shall find the truth. Honor for one," the boy finished, and before Kat could really process what she'd heard, 24 voices chorused, "Honor for all." The boy sat and ruffled through the pages of an old leather-bound book until the headmaster prodded.
"Jason?"
"Oh, yeah." Jason picked up the heavy book. "The Colgan School Honor Board will hear the case of Katarina Bishop, sophomore. The committee will hear testimony that on the 10th of November, Miss Bishop did willfully, steal personal property." Jason chose his words carefully, while a girl in the second row stifled a laugh. "That by committing this act at 2 a.m., she was also in violation of the school curfew, and that Miss Bishop willfully destroyed school artifacts." Jason lowered the book and paused, a little more dramatically than necessary, Kat thought, before he added, "According to the Colgan Code of Honor, these charges are punishable by expulsion. Do you understand the charges as they have been read to you?" Kat took a moment to make sure the board really did want her to respond before she said, "I didn't do it."
"The charges," Headmaster Franklin leaned forward. "The question, Miss Bishop, was whether you understood the charges."
"I do." Kat felt her heartbeat change rhythm. "I just don't agree with them." The headmaster started again, but a woman to his right touched his arm lightly. She smiled at Kat as she said,
"Headmaster, I seem to remember that in matters such as this, it's customary to take the student's full academic history into account. Perhaps we should begin with a review of Miss Bishop's record?"
"Oh."
The headmaster seemed to deflate a bit.
"Well, that's quite right, Miss Connors, but since Miss Bishop has only been with us a few months, she has no record to speak of."
"But surely this is not the first school the young woman has attended?"
Ms. Connors asked, and Kat bit back a nervous laugh.
Well, yes," the headmaster admitted grudgingly. "Of course. And we tried to contact those schools, but there was a fire at Trinity that destroyed the entire admissions office and most of their records. And the Barron Institute experienced a terrible computer crash last summer, so we've had a very difficult time finding things."
The headmaster looked at Kat, as if disasters must follow wherever she went. Miss Connors, on the other hand, looked impressed.
"Those are 2 of the finest schools in Europe."
"Yes, ma'am. My father, he does a lot of work there."
"What do your parents do?"
As Kat searched the second row for the girl who'd posed the question, she started to ask exactly why her parents' occupations mattered, but then she remembered that Colgan was the kind of place where who your parents were and what they did always seemed to matter.
"My mother died when I was 6.